West Ham 1, Chelsea 5. Let me say that again for the people clinging to the edge of reality. West Ham 1, Chelsea 5. And no, this isn't your football manager save from 2023 accidentally left running on holiday mode. This was a live, brutal, and fully televised act of public dismemberment carried out in front of a stadium full of increasingly horrified witnesses, many of whom left early to avoid further trauma. Some of them might still be wandering the Olympic Park trying to remember if it's 2025 or the bad place. This match felt like watching a house fall apart in real time. First, the door falls off, then the walls. Then the ceiling, inexplicably, catches fire. All the while, a calm and cheerful Chelsea squad keeps saying, "Sorry, is this a bad time?" while casually walking through every room, stealing heirlooms, raiding the fridge, and scoring goals, like they've just remembered they're good at football again. And it started, comically, with a stunner. Lucas Paquetá, a man with samba in his boots and a sledgehammer in his right foot. 6 minutes in, West Ham's one truly transcendent moment. He collects the ball, space opens up, and like he's bored of waiting for his teammates to do anything intelligent, he lashes one from distance that swerves like a lie detector needle during a politician's job interview. It flies past Sanchez 1-0. The place goes mad. For a brief, fragile moment, the mood shifts. The dream of a Friday night under the lights, the old heartbeat of the ballin, flickers. And then, the crash. The descent begins with a header. Of course it does. João Pedro nods in the equalizer from a flicked corner. It's one of those nobody even jumped moments. You know the kind. West Ham defenders turning their heads slowly as if watching a pigeon land on a plate of chips. You could hear the sighs from the back row. 1-1. If the Paquetá strike was thunder, then Neto's goal was rain. Cold. Drenching. Inevitable. Chalobah, yes, that Chalobah, decides he's done, being a nice boy, crunches into Paquetá and Chelsea counter like wolves. João Pedro flashes the ball across the 6-yard box and Neto arrives like he's been waiting all summer for this specific goal. Wan-Bissaka is somewhere else. In spirit. In positioning. Probably in 2020. Neto says thank you. 2-1. Then comes the dagger disguised as silk. Estevão, this 18-year-old Brazilian child who floats like an algorithm and glides like a lie, picks up the ball on the right. He turns one defender into a cone and nutmegs another's soul. And then, calm as you like, he squares it to Enzo Fernandez. Tap in. Applause. West Ham's defense is now a suggestion. 3-1, half-time. The home crowd responds with boos. But even those lack conviction. It's like the fans are so tired they're booing out of contractual obligation. The West Ham anthem sounds ironic now. Forever blowing bubbles, more like forever popping them in slow motion. The second half? That wasn't a football match. That was a slapstick routine with tragic undertones. Every time Chelsea got a corner, you felt a disturbance in the force. Like they were hunting set-piece goals on purpose, just to make a point. First, it's Caicedo, the new midfield monster. The man Chelsea fans were side-eyeing last season, now moving like he's been programmed by Maresca to annihilate. Hermansen, West Ham's summer goalkeeper signing, tries to punch the ball clear but forgets how arms work. He spills it to Caicedo's feet. 4-1. The away end starts singing. The home end starts leaving. Then Chalobah again. Yes, him. The man with 2 first names and 0 mercy. Another corner. Another failure to deal with the first ball, second ball, any ball. It ricochets, ping-pongs, and ends at Chalobah's feet. He pokes it home with the quiet cruelty of a villain, closing the final chapter. 5-1. 58 minutes played. You could hear the echo from the Exodus. Somewhere in the stands, someone was probably texting, "Never again." And you know what the worst part is? It could have been 7. Could have been 8. Enzo misses a sitter. Estevão could have had one for himself. Delap probably woke up in the night wondering why he didn't score 2. West Ham had moments. Bowen, ever the fighter, kept running. Ward-Prowse tried a few deliveries that stirred ghosts of set-piece days past. But you'd need to dig with an archaeological team to find West Ham's shape or plan. The defending was described by Jamie Redknapp as scandalous. But honestly, that's too generous. Scandals usually involve a level of sophistication. This was defending without verbs. No tackles, no headers, no urgency, no coherence. And we have to talk about Hermansen. Oh dear. A man making his home debut for a new club, hoping for a clean sheet, and instead walking into a fever dream. You feel for him. A debut at home should be a moment. Instead, it was a horror show reel. Flapped crosses, bad positioning. At one point, even the fans were sarcastically cheering when he caught the ball. You don't recover from that kind of sarcasm. What makes this all feel even more surreal is that Chelsea did this without Cole Palmer, injured in the warm-up. Their best player sidelined, and they still tore through a Premier League side like it was a preseason tune-up. They looked slick, aggressive, hungry. Neto and Estevão were frightening. João Pedro looks like he's been quietly plotting this for months. Enzo was everywhere. Box to box, dictating play, crunching into tackles, and scoring. And Caicedo? He looked like the boss. At one point, I thought he was going to pick up Bowen and carry him back to the West Ham dugout just to make a point. Tactically, this wasn't some masterclass from Chelsea. It didn't need to be. They just pressed, ran, and crossed, over and over. Because it turns out West Ham don't like crosses, or balls in their own box, or pressure, or playing football at the moment. By the time the final whistle blew, it wasn't relief. It was resignation. The players walked off like they knew they'd be running in training on Saturday. Potter didn't even look angry. He looked tired, haunted. Like a man who just realized the haunted house he agreed to live in has no doors and the ghosts pay rent. The Chelsea fans sang, "There's only one Graham Potter," which might be the most brutal thing anyone did all night. And this is a game that featured 5 goals and several ruined careers. So what are we left with? A Chelsea team that has shrugged off their opening day draw like a heavyweight, brushing dust off their shoulder. And a West Ham team that has conceded 8 goals in 2 games and look like they might concede 8 more if the season doesn't stop for emotional intervention. If this was a film, West Ham would be the tragic anti-hero spiraling into chaos, wandering through burning wreckage, whispering, "What did we do wrong?" And Chelsea? Chelsea would be the shark. Elegant, relentless, smiling with all their teeth, and there's more to say. There are performances to unpack, there are names to remember, there are reputations reshaped, and a few completely undone. That's all still to come. Let's take a walk through the wreckage, shall we? Let's start with the man of the match, Moises Caicedo. You ever watch someone play football like they're trying to fix something personal? That was Caicedo. He played like he was still angry about last season. Like someone told him his transfer fee was a waste, and he took that personally, Michael Jordan style. He was everywhere. Interceptions, tackles, blocks, ball recoveries, you name it. He didn't just protect Chelsea's midfield, he vacuum-sealed it. He made West Ham's midfield look like a hobby project. This was not a man playing a match. This was a man on a cleanse. He won his duels, scored a goal, and generally acted like Potter once stole his lunch money, and today was payback. Next to him, Enzo Fernandez. Well, that's just unfair, isn't it? Like pairing a grand piano with a violinist on fire. It's not right. Enzo was gliding, dictating, scoring. The tap-in might have been easy, but it came after Estevão parted the West Ham defense like a zipper. And that's the thing. Enzo was constantly in motion. He wasn't just in the right place, he was making the place right. His range of passing? A full exhibition. One touch here, switch of play there, a cheeky outside-the-boot pass, just to let everyone know he still has flair in the locker. And speaking of flair, Estevão Willian. The boy. The wizard. The heir to the Samba throne. Chelsea fans, welcome to your new obsession. He plays like someone who hasn't been told football is hard. He dribbles like gravity is optional. That run to assist Enzo's goal? Ludicrous. He slices through defenders like they're made of polite intentions. The only thing stopping him from scoring a goal of his own was the fact that physics and time are apparently still functioning. But give him another week. The London Stadium might still be spinning from what he did to them. Pedro Neto? Ruthless. Quietly lethal. There's no posturing with him, just incision. That goal was a ghost move. Arrives late, ghosts in, scores. Like a thief in an empty house. His celebration wasn't arrogance, it was acknowledgement. Yes, I did that. No, it wasn't hard. João Pedro deserves his flowers too. An assist and a goal. A performance laced with sharp movement and sharp decisions. He was Chelsea's pressure valve, and also the spark. dropping deep, finding the wide runners, constantly asking West Ham's defenders questions they weren't qualified to answer. And that header? Textbook. Near post, glanced, deadly. It was the kind of finish that makes your center-backs look at each other and start speaking in half sentences. And then there's Trevoh Chalobah. Trevoh, I'm still here, Chalobah. A goal to his name, yes, but more importantly, a tone setter. Hard challenge on Paquetá in the build-up to Neto's goal. No apologies. Just raw contact and possession won. He wasn't flashy, but he was everywhere. And when West Ham crumbled, he was the one pushing the final bricks off the ledge. Even Cucurella had himself a game. That's right, Cucurella. We're not in Kansas anymore. There was bite to his play. Urgency. That flicked assist from the corner, clean. The runs down the left, intelligent. He didn't get caught out. He didn't dive in. He looked, dare I say it, reliable. Now look, Chelsea's back line wasn't asked to solve differential equations. West Ham's attack came with all the edge of a buttered knife. But still, Tosin, Chalobah, Gusto, Cucurella, they did their jobs. No drama, no panic, just focus. Robert Sanchez had maybe one save to make. The rest of the time, he could have been updating his resume. Let's cross the halfway line, though, and look at the other side. If Chelsea's squad was a song, West Ham's was a broken record playing the sound of defensive collapse on loop. Let's start with Mads Hermansen. Home debut. And he played like he was trying to qualify for Britain's Got No Hands, flapping at crosses, palming the ball directly into Caicedo's shin. Every aerial delivery into the box felt like a live grenade, and Hermansen, poor soul, kept trying to catch it with a paper bag. At one point, the crowd literally cheered when he successfully held onto the ball. I repeat, sarcastic applause. A new low. This is how bad it's gotten. Then we moved to the defense. Wan-Bissaka looked like he'd just been woken up from a long nap every time Chelsea got into the box. His positional awareness could have been sold as abstract art. He lost João Pedro on the header. He lost Neto on the poke. He lost any semblance of composure. And he's not alone. Todibo. Misplaced passes, dragged out of position, slower to react than a Windows 95 loading screen. For someone who's supposed to be a defensive upgrade, he looked like a poorly coded mod. Kilman and Agward? They played like they met each other in the tunnel. No communication, no organization, no. Resistance. It's as if someone told them Chelsea were offside by default, so there was no need to track runners. Ward-Prowse and Souček tried, that's the best you can say. Ward-Prowse still looks like he wants to make things happen, and Souček remains a presence, but it's like sending 2 postal workers to stop a freight train. Not enough bite, not enough cover. Chelsea ran through them like rumor through a WhatsApp group. And what a shame, because Paquetá was brilliant for a whole 7 minutes. That goal, beautiful, audacious. Reminded us he's got that Brazil DNA. But after that, he turned into a mirage. Flickers of intent. Then nothing. He was dispossessed in the build-up to Neto's goal and never recovered. He vanished in the smoke of Chelsea's dominance. Bowen? He's trying to be the captain. He's running. He's shouting. He's completely unsupported. Every time he got the ball, he looked up and saw nothing but blue shirts and existential dread. Füllkrug might have had a goal if not for the offside call, but he's isolated. He might as well be playing alone. There's no service, no link-up, and certainly no plan. This is not a striker's paradise. This is striker purgatory. And let's not forget Potter. Oh, Graham. The Chelsea fans singing "There's only one Graham Potter" must have felt like a cheese grater across the ego. It's not even a dig, it's an obituary. This team is leaking goals, leaking confidence, leaking everything. And it's game 2. The shape keeps changing. The players look confused. The plan, if there is one, seems to have been left in a hotel room somewhere in Sunderland. You can feel the pressure mounting like a storm cloud. The crowd booed, then left, then booed again from home, probably. The body language of the players? Like they're waiting for the credits to roll. Potter says money won't fix everything, but it might fix this. Because right now the team looks like a bag of parts with no instructions. The scary thing? West Ham weren't even playing a great Chelsea. They were just playing a Chelsea with teeth. And Chelsea didn't bite once. They kept biting. Kept circling, kept scoring. It was relentless. It was embarrassing. It was 5-1, and it could have been more. And the window's still open. Good luck selling this performance to any potential new signing. Come join West Ham, where you too can lose 5-1 to a team missing their best player. Across the pitch tonight, there were players building legacies and players erasing theirs. That's football. That's this league. That's how you go from hopeful to hopeless in 58 minutes flat. More chaos to come, I'm sure. But for tonight, that's the storm. This has been Across the Pitch. Over and out.